Welcome back to the Cardinal Report. Joining us now is North Central Sports Information Director, Clark Teuscher. Clark, thanks for coming in.
It's good to be here.
So let's start off with the men's basketball team. They ascended to the #1 ranking. They did a great job this week, but unfortunately they fell to Carthage in a CCIW matchup.
They went on the road on Wednesday, and road games in the conference can be tough if you're not at your top of your game, and they were a little rough on offense and not able to really kind of make the shots that they normally make out of the flow of what they're trying to do offensively. I had a couple of guys go down with injuries. Just didn't make enough of the plays that they normally make to get the win there. But to their credit, they didn't get down. They came back a couple of good days of practice on Saturday. Then on Saturday, they beat a ranked team in Augustana at home. Certainly a good way to respond, and hopefully that's the start of another significant winning streak here late in the season.
Yeah, it's tough to really run the table in any division. I mean, we saw the undefeateds in Division I go down this past weekend. I think there's only 4 or 5 left in Division III. How does that loss midway through the season, do you think, help the Cardinals as they try and move forward and move back up the rankings?
Well, I think it's certainly with 10 games left in the year, they've got enough time to kind of address things that haven't been done as well as they should have been. There's only been 3 teams ever in Division III to go undefeated from wire to wire, so certainly not something to really spend any time dwelling on. But they've definitely gotten back to business. Coach Reardon and his staff, they've always been pretty good about coming back off a loss and kind of analyzing why those things happened and what the proper steps are to go about correcting them. And I think we definitely saw that on Saturday.
And you mentioned it, that they bounced back, beating a ranked team in Augustana College, and they had to do it without one of their starters, as Aaron Tigness nursing a little bit of an injury. But the Cardinals, their defense really seemed to prevail that night.
Yeah, the defense is what will keep them in the games, regardless of who's on the other end scoring for them. That was they're ranked 6th in the country right now out of 407 Division III schools in scoring defense. So that's definitely something that's going to keep you in contention night after night. Aaron's day-to-day right now with a knee injury. He's probably not going to play on Wednesday evening. We'll have to wait and see if he's going to play on the weekend against North Park. But they're going to do whatever they need to do to make sure that he's ready for the big games down the stretch and into the postseason.
Well, hopefully the defense stays strong, because they say defense wins championships. And it was a defensive battle against the Vikings, and the Cardinal Report was there to see the men come out victorious. Let's go to the highlight. North Central men's team hoping to bounce back from their first loss of the season, and they'll have to do it without their high-energy player, Aaron Tigness. Landon Gamble gets the Cardinals going early, first looking like Kareem with the skyhook. Then he steps back and shows his range as he knocks it down from the top of the key. Pat Rourke provides a spark off the bench as North Central builds an 8-point lead midway through the first half. The Vikings don't back down as George Dexter lets one fly, and with a name like that, he's used to showtime. Then Griffin Pills slashes the lane and cuts the Cardinal advantage to 2. North Central builds the lead back up before the break as Jack Bouchette drives the lane and shows his athleticism with the left. Then with under a minute to go, Rosenberg with the post move off the window. He converts the 3-point play, and the Cardinals are up 7 at halftime. Augustana chips away to start the second as Ryan Ben finds Brandon Coons down low for the bucket. Then Tavian Johnson goes up and over Derek Reardon, and all of a sudden it's a 1-point game. But that's as close as the Cardinals would let this one get. Landon Gamble led the way with 22 points to go along with 8 boards. And though Derek Reardon had only 1 field goal all game, it doesn't get any bigger than this. The Cardinals pull away down the stretch for a 59-46 win. Clark, it seems like with this men's team, every CCIW game is going to be a battle when you have teams like Augustana, Wheaton, and Illinois Wesleyan who they have yet to face.
And sometimes in a very literal sense of the term, a lot of those teams are going to play a very physical brand of basketball. Down low, it's those guys really. It's a really kind of a blessing to have the number of post players that North Central has to be able to rotate in, and get guys kind of out of the line of fire there, so to speak, because there's a lot of wayward elbows and things like that in the lane from night to night. So definitely, it's something that has to be dealt with. Not all of that stuff is going to be called by the officials. I mean, there's that much of it going on. Some stuff's going to get let go. Being able to keep a level head and focus on what you're doing while that's going on is a real priority for all those teams heading down the stretch.
And we saw the first rankings come out for indoor track and field. The men's team, no surprise at number 1, but the women's team may have surprised a couple people as they come away with a 15th ranking nationally.
Yeah, the women's team didn't necessarily have the kinds of finishes at the national championship meets last year that they wanted to. The good news is that most of the athletes that were in the top of the different events for them are back this year. It's still a very young team, but on the women's side, sometimes not necessarily such a bad thing. I think they're, in terms of depth, they're a little further ahead than they were this time last year. I think they're pretty anxious to start the season on Friday and see how all that talent kind of comes together.
Well, it should be exciting as they start off the season this Friday at home. Clark, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
The women's basketball team is back in action this Saturday as they head to North Park University to take on the Vikings. I'm Marc Dahlquist. We'll see you here next time on the Cardinal Report.